Look, I'll be straight with you. Most property education is complete bollocks. You've got people selling courses who've only done 3 deals, promising you'll make millions from your bedroom. But here's the thing, real property investment isn't learned from a PowerPoint presentation. It's learned on site, in real deals, alongside people who are actually doing it. Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes on our first Property Ascension on-site visit. You'll see exactly what our members get access to and see the quality of the people who are joining. You'll discover what it actually takes to grow a property business beyond just doing a few buy-to-lets. By the end of this video, you'll see why successful property investors don't work alone and what separates those making real money from those who are just collecting rent. Let me show you what happened when we took 25 serious property investors to see 4 deals in one day. The first thing that struck me about this group is they're not your typical property course attendees.
So we've been going a year at the moment. We've got a plumbing company, transitioned from the plumbing company with property maintenance. So we bought a few properties. We're up to 6 this year, so it's going quite well.
I set up my property investment company about 14 months ago now, Mark Stewart Properties, looking to scale aggressively in the property market, say the next 6 to 9 months, and I'm absolutely loving it.
I've been doing property now for over 2 decades, full-time for since 2011, so 14 years. But I've been doing property now, in Wales for about 6 years, and I've had some good success.
We've done a couple of properties already. Down in Cardiff, we turned a corner terrace into 2 flats. That was a really good learning experience. But where I didn't have experience with things like flips, we've been buying to retain, and then where we do want to get to with Ryan is blocks of flats.
It wasn't just a flash in the pan idea and I thought I'll try and wing it. I really wanted to establish like a team around me that I could lean on and network with and really help me push where I wanted to be on. Ryan kind of presented the whole program, the mentorship, as a case of like scaling aggressively, and there is ways of doing it, not just building up one at a time. I can do like a block deal in 11 months that would almost substitute or replace 10 to 12 buy-to-lets.
We've got people on the ground here. Ryan knows builders. Adam knows plumbers. Adam is a plumber. There are people that we can tap in within this group. We can find properties that aren't quite right for us, but we're starting to get an idea of who to steer it to. And with conversations, I think there's a few people are finding properties that might be more my bag that might come in our direction.
It's helped us a lot really, you're just executing the deals a little bit better. You're trying to step back a little bit just so I got more time to find the deals and sort of analyse stuff rather than just going there sweeping up and trying to do my own thing, buying the kitchens. So yeah, you are progressing on the course, and it's just in ways which you never even thought about.
Seeing deals is one thing, but understanding the mindset behind them is what really separates successful investors. I'll get into it now. I'll run through the whole project. Thanks everyone for coming to the Property Ascension first meetup ever. Loads of people turned up. I'm glad everyone didn't come because we wouldn't fit in the house. But this is Trioin project. It's on the market, it's finished. It was sold up until a few weeks ago. It is sold for 225. Buyers pulled out, unfortunately. Nothing to do with the house, just had a change of heart, so it's back on the market. This was bought for 100k. It was on the market with an agent at 150. We've spent 56,000, so a very big refurb. There was an extension out there where the deck was, which we knocked down. So we put the downstairs shower room in. Kitchen diner's been knocked through, and we've actually brought that corner down there up by just over a foot. We redone all like the joists. We're hoping to get 220 for this. I'd be happy with 200 to be honest. We're in for about 165. So all in all, a great project. You identify really quickly when you're doing buy-to-lets that your deposit's gone and you have to wait to get it back. And then you like lose this deal, lose that deal because there's no money left. So like a flip will give you another deposit, and then you get that one back, and you do another one, you got another one. You can do 2. To scale, you need money from somewhere, and I've never stopped doing flips because it's what's allowed me to do like 10 projects in a year. I try and acquire blocks to keep and flips to sell. So like the money keeps going into like the block portfolio and growing that. This one didn't really go over budget, but it went over time. The driveway there, the neighbour complained about it. I had to go back through planning. It was too big. I was on stop for 12 weeks at a council letter to say I had an illegal drive, which that's sorted now, and we went for retrospective planning on it. But then by the time I'd sorted that, the build team I had on it were on different jobs, so we wasted 3 or 4 weeks waiting for another one. So just had like different problems not related to budget on this one. So So I try and set the exit at the start. So this is a flip. I want it to continue as a flip. I could refinance it and probably get most of the money back out, but I don't want to hold a 220 grand asset, which is rented for £1,000 a month. It would work okay, but it's not the strategy. So like for now, I'm sticking with this one. If it was like catastrophic and it couldn't sell, the option's there. It's not a fantastic option for me. But if I was to get the bridge off and get a mortgage on it, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I'd much rather like the 50k profit, because that's like funding another flip and towards another block, for example. So the guy who done this one up is actually the same guy who was on the next one we're going to. So that saves me a load of stress. I've had projects which stuff has gone wrong, the build has been bad, and we've ultimately had to remove them afterwards. And that one project can take up more stress and time than the rest all put together. Every single person on this site visit had to make the same mental leap.
The value in Ryan, again, for what we're paying him is just his on-the-ground knowledge and his way of looking at the market. With the spreadsheet, yeah? Start with the number you need at the end. There are things in the middle that aren't particularly variable. There's a build cost. There's a minimum you can get that to. Your finance costs aren't going to change much. Your legals, your LTT aren't going to change much. So the real number you can influence is the purchase price. So fix what your purchase price is going to be. Offer that.
I've learned a lot already, and that's translated into results. I wasn't approaching things in a scientific enough way, and joining the course I realised that there's a different way of looking at deals. There's a different way of sourcing deals. And I realised that if I follow Ryan's method, I'll find deals. And we found a deal.
Implementing his ideas as well. And he's an estate agent, so of course he knows, he's a very good understanding of who his buyer avatar is going to be, and that's what he's trying to hone me on. Like, don't just be doing the bog standard because you're going to blend in with everyone else. What is your bespoke? What's Mark Stewart Properties' brand going to be about, and what can you offer? And how can you solve someone's problem as well? And I think that's kind of the mentality switch that I've had, is how do I solve said landlord's problem? How do I solve said buyer's problem? And I think by addressing those issues and leading with that, it makes the whole process a lot smoother. I think that's what's exciting. Like, the boundary is limitless of what we can achieve here.
The main thing with the programme is I wouldn't have got into anything bigger. I think I would have always just stuck the normal buy-to-let, the 3 beds, the 2 beds. But then speaking to Ryan, is when you look at the blocks, you have to do like 10 different projects to get the same money, and you've got it back, and you've pulled your money back out. It's stepping away, because we've got quite a big plumbing business. It's stepping away from that and going more into the property. But it's just, you never would normally think, you think you want to leave your job to do property, but you can actually do both. You learn to, that can be managed by someone, the property can be managed, you just need to oversee everything.
So this one's literally been a nightmare. So we've got the kitchen floor dug out. There's leaking pipes underneath, but we didn't find it until the house had dried and been painted. So this has been dug back out afterwards. We had to run a new main in. So you can see down the lane, we've had to dig this out and put that in. So with the whole roof off, pretty much everything that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. So we're not drastically over, but hoping to make 40, probably going to make like 25 to 28k on this one. It's a hard one. I think the lesson to learn on this is that sometimes you can have a survey, bring your builder in advance, and there's stuff which you just don't see. Like this was like full of stuff. It had a kitchen in it. Never would have seen like a damp spot on the floor. So, you know, how far do you go? Like we assessed the roof and we could see it was leaking. So we thought, you know, the felt needs doing, it needs stripping back. You can't really see rotten joists in the end of the wall until it comes off. You can't take a roof off before you buy it. You know, if you've got the sheet with the refurb, the contingency, the right profit, you know, if you're going into something with a low profit because you're desperate for a project, no contingency, you're trying to make it work, like all of those things unravel and you're at a loss. So, contingency on the sheet. That brings me to the most important lesson from the entire day. Here's what I realised watching our members interact with each other. Right guys, project number 3. Another big project, 3-bed to a 4-bed conversion with another toilet being added in. Some great numbers on this one. 120k purchase, got a 46k refurb, but I think we're going to wander into about 50k by the end because I've just added some extras in. So far nothing's gone wrong. we've planned for pretty much everything that is happening, like the roof issue we had, chimneys come off, planned for the full plaster, the full boiler, the full kitchen, bathroom, everything else. Should get about 235 minimum for this, but I'm hoping for about 250. Should be about 60k in it, but worst case scenario, we're about 40k profit, which is still a fantastic result. Everybody here has got a small portfolio, so hopefully everyone can learn how to do these types of deals. There's some bigger deals, flips. I know a lot of you are single let investors, so you know these flips are fantastic for building capital up, getting up to the blocks, or just getting capital for one more flip, two more flips, three more flips, building up that way. Obviously this is the real deal, this is the real stuff. So seeing it for real life, hopefully you're all getting a load of value from it. So this one was on the market with Flying Keys and another agent for a long time. It was on the market for 170 and then it was down to 150. It sold, I think 135 to somebody who then failed a survey for an issue with the chimney. It failed a structural survey because there was a crack forming in the bedroom below the chimney. I had a little investigation myself from my builder and realised it was just the chimney and it wasn't subsidence or anything else because the crack was starting at the top and on the bottom. Had a deal agreed at 120 because of that, you know, win-win again. Sometimes I get nothing for a few months, sometimes I get 3 phone calls in a weekend. It is really up and down, but you know, the volume of letters I send isn't vast, but they are always to people who are on the market for a long time within the price range I'm looking for. So trying to target them as best as possible. It's knowledge that I've got from experience, but it's knowledge that you could get from someone else by having a surveyor. So you know, if you was looking at a house which had suspected structural issues, bring someone with the knowledge. You don't have to have all the knowledge. There's loads of things I haven't got knowledge of. You know, if it's a plumbing issue, a gas issue, I've got nothing on that, so I'm relying on someone else. So definitely rely on someone else. Like if anyone in the group needs a bit of knowledge, you can rely on me. If I haven't got it, I can give you somebody who does probably. We've only allowed people in the group that have got a really good background. Everyone in the group is an experienced property investor in some way. And I've noticed a lot of people have been doing deals between themselves, which is fantastic. That's what it's for, is to get everyone off relying on people who are going to source them deals and things, and everyone's finding deals for themselves. There's just loads of great people in the group, to be honest. So my vision for this group is not for just people to get some great flips. It's happening already. When we get onto the blocks, I want people to be building big portfolios in the background. I want people to be growing their portfolio to the point where they don't have to go to work every day, which is what I've achieved very recently. You know, I still work within my own business, but I used to have a job and I used to struggle to find deposits and I used to struggle to grow my portfolio. So you know, there's a lot of people who are like in the position I was just a few years ago. Financial freedom, they call it. And maybe you won't stop working, but maybe you'll just do what you want to do instead of turning up for someone else. Accountability, we've covered it already. Accountability is massive. You've got to be doing. There's no point learning. Like there's people who've been learning for a while. Hopefully this is the doing, not just the learning. I think it's working. I think there's people who have got deals, there's people negotiating deals, there's people who've worked out how to just do the sheets and make sure the deals are the right ones. So, you know, the biggest part of it is doing what you've learned rather than learning it and just still watching. Look, I'm not here to convince you the Property Ascension is right for everyone. It's not. What I showed you today is what happens when serious investors get together with real deals. No fluff, no false promises, just the actual workings in real property deals. If you're currently stuck doing one deal at a time, struggling to find opportunities or working in isolation without anyone who understands what you're trying to build, the people you've seen today are not special. They just made the decision to invest in themselves. Click this video to get access to our property flipping masterclass, including the deals that have made over 50k and the ones that nearly went wrong. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you're ready to stop learning about property investment and actually start doing it at scale, check out the links below. The difference between successful property investors and everybody else isn't knowledge, it's implementation. And implementation is always easier when you're not doing it alone.